A crippled man rolled his old rusty wheelchair down a rich neighborhood street. His clothes were dirty, his beard was rough, and dust covered his skin. But his eyes were full of fire. He stopped at the huge black gate of a mighty mansion. He rang the bell once. The gate man came out, chewing gum with style, but when he saw the man in the wheelchair, he froze. His jaw dropped. Ah, who dashed madman confidence? He muttered under his breath. The crippled man smiled kindly. Good afternoon. Please, is this Madam Pamela's house? The gateman nodded slowly. Yes, but bro, I beg talk fast. My madam no like noise. I no one lose job. Just then, a loud and proud voice came from behind. Who is that disturbing my gate again? It was Madam Pamela herself, walking with pride in her designer gown and 10-inch heels. Her wig looked like it had its own generator. She stopped. Her eyes landed on the crippled man. She stepped back in irritation. Blood of lion! What is this at my gate? Good afternoon, Ma, the man said gently. I'm looking for a wife. I was told you have 3 daughters. Pamela blinked. Then she threw back her head and laughed wickedly. A wife? From my house? For you? Ha! Wonders shall never end. She wiped fake tears of laughter from her eye. You know what? You're lucky. One useless girl here needs to leave my house by fire by force. She turned back and shouted, Chica! Ah! Come out here this minute with your poverty. A quiet, slim girl walked out slowly. Her clothes were faded. Her feet were bare. Her head was down, but her heart was calm. Pamela hissed loudly. Take her. No need for bride price. Just carry your problem and disappear, and never show your face around here again. She pushed Chica forward like a piece of garbage. Here, take the shame of this family with you. The crippled man looked at Chica, stood up slowly from the wheelchair, removed his cap, and raised his chin high. The whole place froze. Pamela's eyes widened. The gateman's gum fell to the floor. He was not crippled. My name is Darlington Rocket, he said in a clear, commanding voice. Son of Rocket Empire. Pamela staggered like she had been slapped by thunder. Before she could say a word, Darlington picked up his phone and made one simple call. Change this location to my wedding venue. I'm marrying my bride today. Within minutes, the sound of engines filled the air. 6 sleek black cars arrived, their bodies shining like mirrors. 4 big vans followed behind. Men in suits and sunglasses jumped out quickly, arranging things like clockwork. Chairs, flowers, red carpet, even a band. The quiet street turned into a wedding ground. Pamela's lips trembled. Wait, no. This must be a joke. It's Sophia I told your parents about. Not this thing. This house rat. Darlington turned, his face calm but powerful. You mean the Sophia that has already painted the city red with her loud mouth and arrogance? He walked over to Chica and gently held her hand. This girl may wear rags, but she has more value than gold. She is my bride, and the wedding is today. Whether you cry, faint, or shout, it won't change anything. Pamela gasped, looking like her blood pressure had entered the sky. No, you can't do this. Darlington smiled coldly. I already did. Then he leaned close to Pamela and whispered, Next time, don't throw away a diamond because it looks like a stone. As the band started playing, Pamela could only stand and watch, her mouth wide open, her heart full of shame, and her pride crushed beyond repair. Then, Darlington gently opened the back door of a sleek black car and helped Chica inside like a queen. No rush, no shame, just calm respect. He leaned in and said softly, Please do the needful. We have only 3 hours to the event. Everything you need is in there. Inside the car, Chica's eyes widened. The back seat wasn't just leather, it was luxury. On the seat beside her was a golden box filled with brand new clothes, glittering heels, expensive perfume, and fine jewelry that sparkled like stars. A personal stylist sat quietly in front, ready to transform her into a bride the world would bow to. Darlington closed the door gently and walked to another car. As his driver opened the door, he glanced one last time at the shocked faces standing at the gate. Madam Pamela looked like her spirit had left her body. Her 2 daughters, Sophia, who thought the wedding was hers, and Nina, who was always mocking Chica. Both stood stiff like mannequins, their mouths slightly open, their eyes blinking fast like broken traffic lights. Not a word came out of their mouths. The pride they once carried like perfume had vanished into thin air. Darlington got into his car, and it zoomed off behind Chica's. The convoy followed smoothly, as if the whole thing had been rehearsed for weeks. Then, something even more shocking happened. Within minutes, trucks began to enter the compound. Big white trucks carrying flower arrangements, shining white chairs, massive speakers, silver stands, balloons, catering vans, decorators, camera crew, even chefs dressed in white uniforms and tall hats. Before their very eyes, their compound, the same compound Pamela once called too clean for a pauper, was turning into the wedding venue of the year. Red carpet rolled out, stage erected, balloons floated, tables sparkled, workers moved like ants. The scent of rich food filled the air. One decorator walked past Pamela and said with a polite smile, "Madam, please shift a little. You're standing where the cake will be." Pamela didn't move. She couldn't. She was frozen, her head turned slowly, taking it all in. "My house is the wedding venue?" she whispered, like she was in a horror film. Sophia whispered to Nina, "So, that cripple was a billionaire?" Nina replied without blinking, "No, that cripple is our in-law now." Pamela suddenly sat on the ground like someone whose brain disconnected from her body. All the insults, all the disgrace, all the pride. Now, the world was watching her house host a wedding she never approved. And the bride? The same girl she dragged out like trash. As the last car in the convoy pulled away, silence fell like a slap. Madame Pamela stood at the gate for a few seconds, her chest rising and falling like a volcano about to erupt. Then, without a word, she turned around and marched back into the house, her heels hitting the tiles like gunshots. Bang! 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 Inside the house, she snatched her phone from the table and dialed quickly with shaky hands. Her fingers moved like she was dialing 911. "Clara! Clara!" she barked the moment the call connected. Darlington's mother, Madame Clara, picked the call from her room. She was still tying her wrapper, preparing for what she thought would be a calm day. "Bestie, what's wrong? Why are you shouting?" Pamela's voice cracked with frustration. "Why didn't you tell me Darlington was back in the country? He came to my house today, disguised as a cripple, and now he's getting married to Chica, that useless thing I raised like a rat." Clara sat up straight, eyes wide with shock. Wait, what? Darlington came to your house?" "Yes," Pamela snapped, her voice trembling. "He came in a wheelchair, looking like dust and disgrace, said he wanted a wife, and I, like a fool, gave him Chica to drive away, only for him to stand up and reveal himself, and now he's turning my compound into a wedding venue." Clara gasped. "Ah, Pamela, I swear on my roasted chicken I wasn't aware of this plan. He came back from abroad just yesterday and didn't tell me anything. I only saw his message early this morning saying I should dress up, that he's proposing to his bride today in her family's compound." Pamela let out a bitter laugh, one filled with pain and regret. "So I've been used, played, disgraced, like a villager in a movie." Clara was silent. What could she say? Pamela dropped to the floor, her pride in pieces. "You know I never liked Chica," she whispered, her voice shaking. "I fed her like a dog, clothed her in shame, made her serve Sophia and Nina like a maid. I used her pain to teach my daughter's pride." Her voice rose again, full of fire and jealousy. "Now look, that same girl wants to marry into wealth, into class, into power, into your family." She hit her chest and shouted, "I won't allow it. I swear on everything I own, I will not sit and watch Chica, the girl I treated like dirt, become more successful than my own daughters. Never." Clara sighed from the other end. "Pamela, please, let this matter rest. If Darlington has chosen, then..." Pamela cut the call. Her eyes were red, her lips trembling. She wasn't just angry, she was wounded. At the hotel, the bathroom door opened gently with a soft mist of steam floating out. Chica stepped into the room with her white towel wrapped neatly around her slim figure. Her skin glowed, her heart beat fast, not from fear, but from excitement. This was the biggest day of her life. She walked straight to the small, shiny designer box placed on the bed, the same box that had been handed to her with smiles and whispers of, "Your dream bridal look is inside." Her fingers reached for the zip. The box opened. She blinked, then frowned, then screamed. "No!" Her voice echoed through the hotel room like thunder. Inside the box were not gowns, not bridal wear, not even normal clothes. Rags. Yes, old, torn, dirty rags, smelling of dust and disgrace. She stepped back like the box was cursed. "What is this? This is not what I saw before," she gasped, placing both hands on her head. Her eyes scanned the room like a lioness looking for a thief. She rushed to the bedside table to grab the new iPhone. Darlington had given her just that morning. Gone. She opened the wardrobe, empty. She knelt down, searching under the bed, under the pillow, behind the curtain. Where is it? Where's my phone? My clothes? My dress? She whispered to herself, trying to calm her shaking hands. I just kept everything here. I saw the dress with my own eyes. It was white, glowing. It had pearls. This box was full. It was full of beautiful things before I entered the bathroom. She paused. Am I dreaming? Did someone come in? Is this a joke? Her heart pounded like a drum in her chest. The room felt darker, colder. Chica stood still, wrapped in her towel, staring at the box of rags like it was mocking her. What just happened? Who came in? How? Why? Where is her phone? And her dream gown? Her breath became shallow. Her chest rose and fell like she was breathing through a straw. The tears began to gather at the corner of her eyes. The room was too quiet, too still, too wrong. Suddenly, she heard something, a faint movement, tap, creak, like a soft shuffle. She turned sharply toward the wardrobe. Her heart hoped, maybe my clothes are there. Maybe it's my phone. Maybe this is all a bad joke. But when she looked back at the bed, her soul almost left her body. Right there, on the bed, where there was nothing just seconds ago, sat a small folded note. Her hands started to tremble. Her towel suddenly felt like it would slip off from fear alone. How did this get here? She whispered. She inched toward the bed, picked up the note with shaky fingers, and slowly opened it. One line, written in bold red ink. Don't marry him. He is a ritualist. He killed me 7 days ago in this same place. Chica let out a sound that wasn't quite a scream, but wasn't human either. Her eyes widened. Her legs moved before her brain could think, and she ran. She ran like madness itself was chasing her. Down the hallway, out of the elevator, barefoot, her towel barely holding on, she dashed like a woman on fire. At the hotel reception, the stylist who had been waiting patiently for Chica's call stood up in confusion. Madam, she called out, seeing Chica bolting out like a windstorm. Why are you running like this? You should have called me. Your hair and gown. Chica didn't wait. She screamed, I'm not marrying again. The stylist froze. Wait! What? As Chica sprinted out of the hotel, 2 of Darlington's drivers, already parked near the entrance in matching suits, saw her and rushed forward. Madame, please wait. What happened? Are you okay? She waved her hands like someone running from death. Leave me alone. I said I'm not marrying again. And like a flash, she disappeared through the gate, leaving everyone, stylist, drivers, hotel staff, and guests, completely speechless. People began to whisper, is this a prank? Did she run mad? Was she possessed? Nobody had answers. The stylist's mouth hung open. She looked at the hotel manager. Did you see that? That madam just ran out half naked in towels, screaming. One of the drivers turned sharply, his voice rising. Call Boss Darlington now. Call him. Something is wrong. Another driver was already dialing. The receptionist fumbled with her walkie-talkie. Everyone was shouting at once. Meanwhile, in a luxurious villa not far away, Darlington stood in front of a full-length mirror, his black tuxedo smooth like silk, shining shoes, hair brushed back like royalty. He laughed with 2 close friends beside him as he adjusted his bow tie. Guy, Your face they shine past grooms, one of them teased. Darlington laughed. Not today we marry. Chica go scatter the internet with her beauty today. Then his phone rang. Then another phone. Then a third. Then the hotel line. His smile slowly faded. He picked the first one. Hello? The voice came in shaky and scared. Sir, this is John, your driver. Something done happen. Chica just run out of the hotel compound in only towel. She say she no day marry again. Darlington froze. What? Another call came in, the stylist. Sir, please, did you argue with her? Did she receive any bad news? She screamed like she saw a ghost. She ran past everyone. Another call. The hotel manager. Mr. Darlington, sorry to bother you, but we may have a serious problem. Your bride left the room suddenly, shouting about not getting married again. She left all her belongings. Something must have frightened her badly. Darlington's face went pale. His friend stopped laughing. He took a deep breath, grabbed his car keys, and rushed out with 2 bodyguards. Let's go. Something's wrong. Back at the hotel room, Darlington stormed in. He stood frozen as he looked around. Everything seemed normal, until his eyes fell on the open box of rags on the bed. Where's the gown? He asked, voice low and dangerous. The stylist replied, it was only her wedding dress, shoes and jewelries that was there initially. Darlington slowly walked toward the bed. Then he saw it, the folded note. He picked it up and read it. Don't marry him. He is a ritualist. He killed me 7 days ago in this same place. His hand started to shake. He looked around the room, looked under the bed, opened the wardrobe. Nothing. He stared at the note again. The stylist gasped, Sir, this is pathetic. Darlington said nothing. He dropped the note, then looked up. Find her. Now. Somewhere down the lonely road, Chica ran as fast as her bare feet could carry her. Her towel clung tightly to her as she clutched it with one hand and held her pounding chest with the other. She didn't even know where she was going. She just wanted to be far, far away. Her hair was wild. Her eyes were wide with terror. Cars zoomed past, people stared, some pointed. But she didn't stop. Tears and sweat ran down together. She didn't know how long she ran. Minutes? Hours? Everything felt like a blur. Then suddenly, she reached a narrow corner that led into a small bush path by the roadside. She staggered in. She bent over, trying to catch her breath. God, please, save me. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Suddenly, a calm voice spoke from the corner. Young lady, are you all right? Chica turned quickly. There, under the shade of the tree, sat an old woman on a low stool. She looked about 70, dressed in a simple faded gown. A small basin of oranges and groundnuts sat beside her. She looked concerned. I saw you running, the woman said. You're not wearing slippers and you're in just a towel. What happened? Chica's lips trembled. I don't know. I needed to run. I can't stay in that hotel again. The woman squinted. Did someone try to harm you? Chica nodded, confused. I think he's not who I thought he was. Someone left a note on my bed. It said he's a ritualist, that he killed someone 7 days ago in that same room. The woman's face didn't change. She didn't scream. She didn't gasp. She just listened. Did you see who dropped the note? She asked softly. Chica shook her head. No, I was in the bathroom. I came out and saw it on the bed. And my clothes. The beautiful clothes were replaced with rags. My phone is missing. It was like a ghost is chasing me. The woman nodded slowly. Then she looked straight into Chica's eyes. And you believe the note? Chica paused. What do you mean? I mean, if someone wanted to stop your wedding, the easiest way was to make you afraid. You saw the dress before you entered the bathroom, right? Chica nodded slowly. So who had the key to your room? Who knew where your phone was? And who knew your fears well enough to write such a message? Chica blinked. Her breathing slowed. Do you know your husband to be personally? The woman asked gently. Chica shook her head. Not really, but he's been kind to me, the kindest person I've met in years. Then don't throw away something good because fear knocked at your door, the woman said. Chica sat down slowly on a stone beside the woman. For a moment, the street noise faded. All she heard was her own heart beating. "What if it's true?" she whispered. The woman looked at her firmly. "And what if it's a lie? You left everything and ran without asking questions." Chica covered her face with both hands. "I don't know what to believe anymore." The woman placed a calm hand on her shoulder. "Then ask. Don't run. Ask. The one who gave you the truth will not hide from you." Meanwhile, at Pamela's house, Pamela sat proudly on her cream-colored sofa, legs crossed, with a glass of orange juice in her hand. Sophia sat beside her, fanning herself, while Nina scrolled endlessly through her phone. Then suddenly, "Wait! Wait! What's this?" Nina sat upright, eyes wide, her mouth slowly parting in disbelief. Sophia leaned over quickly. "What are you seeing?" Pamela, already intrigued, tilted her head. "What again? Who is trending this time?" Nina didn't say a word. She simply turned the screen toward them. There on the screen was a short video that had already gathered thousands of views. The caption read, "Live from Majestic Hotel. Bride runs out screaming, 'I don't want to marry again.'" "Mummy, I still can't believe this is real. Just look at her. Running like a mad woman on the street. Is that the same girl that claimed she was going to marry Darlington? A whole Rocket family bride looking like a runaway slave." Pamela laughed, shaking her glass with pride. "Let her run till her feet tear. Darlington Rocket is for you, Sophia. I don't care if he wants to turn you into a maid in that mansion. Even if he begs to cook for you and sweep your room, I don't mind. What matters is you'll become his wife." Nina rolled her eyes and chuckled. "But Mummy, what if he still insists on Chica? What if he—" Pamela cut her off with a mocking laugh. "Insist on who? A girl that's running around the city half naked and screaming like someone chased by thunder? Sweetheart, Darlington wouldn't dare embarrass his family. Not after inviting all those important guests." "You think he'll tell them he's marrying a towel-wearing drama queen?" Pamela sipped her drink. "Don't worry, he'll come back. He has no choice. His pride won't let him cancel that wedding. Sophia must be ready." She reached for her phone. "Let me call my boutique to bring the best wedding gown they have. Expensive. Imported. The type they use in celebrity weddings." Sophia blushed and giggled. Nina smiled sarcastically. "Ah, I thought you said you were broke last week. Where will you get money to pay for that kind of gown?" Pamela didn't even blink. "Credit, my dear. Credit. I'll pay later. Or is Darlington not rich enough to cover the bill after marrying Sophia? He will pay, by force or by love." They all burst into laughter. Pamela mockingly, "Look outside. Those decorators are still sweating in the sun, hanging ribbons and lights. All for a wedding they think is for Chica. I can't wait to see the look on their faces when Darlington walks back in here and begs Sophia to help him save face." Pamela raised her glass in the air. "To my daughter Sophia, the real Mrs. Darlington Rocket." Sophia smiled proudly, while Nina raised a suspicious eyebrow, silently thinking, "But what if something goes wrong?" Meanwhile, somewhere on a dusty road near a quiet bush path, Darlington jumped down from the Jeep as soon as it screeched to a stop. The tension on his face was thick. He didn't wait for his guards to open the door. 2 drivers pulled in behind him. His personal assistant ran up, phone in hand, panic all over his face. "Sir, we asked everyone along the road. Some say she ran this way crying. No car picked her. She was on foot." Darlington didn't waste time. "Split up, search the bush, ask people. She can't be far. She's in a towel. She wouldn't have gotten far." "Yes, sir," his men chorused and scattered. Some toward the motor path, some toward the inner village road, and the rest into the thick bushes beside the roadside. Darlington, breathing hard, walked along a narrow footpath, eyes darting left and right. His hands were clenched, his heart pounded. "Where are you, Chica?" he whispered to himself. Just then, one of his men shouted from a distance, waving, "Sir, I see someone." Darlington ran. His shoes kicked up sand and dead leaves. He ran past tall grass, his suit jacket flying behind him, until he reached a quiet opening in the bush. And there she was, sitting under a short tree, barefoot, head lowered. Beside her was that same old woman. The woman held a long stick beside her. Darlington stopped. He breathed in, then walked forward gently. The old woman looked up first. She squinted. "Are you the young man she's been crying about?" the woman asked in a calm, almost amused voice. Darlington swallowed. Yes, ma, I'm Darlington." Chica raised her head. Their eyes met. For a moment, no one said anything. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her hair was damp. Her mouth trembled. Darlington didn't speak. He just walked closer slowly and knelt down before her in the red sand. "I was scared something happened to you," he said softly. "You didn't even wait for me to hear your side. Please, talk to me." Chica looked at him, confused, angry, and relieved all at once. "Darlington, I don't understand what happened. My phone vanished. My clothes were replaced with rags. Then I saw a note on the bed saying you were dangerous. I panicked. I lost it. I didn't know what to believe." Darlington looked stunned for a moment. His face hardened with realization. "So someone set you up?" he said quietly. Chica nodded slowly. "I'm sorry I ran. I was just afraid." Darlington reached out and took her hands gently. "Don't be sorry. I'm glad I found you. Whatever is going on, we'll handle it together. I just need you to trust me." The old woman smiled and rose to her feet, leaning on her stick. "Looks like this is no ordinary love," she said with a chuckle. "Let me leave you two to finish what fear tried to scatter." Darlington stood up and looked at his men who had just arrived. "Get her a clean robe. Call the stylist to meet us back at the hotel. No one tells the press a word." Then he turned to Chica again, brushed a strand of hair from her face, and smiled gently. "We still have time to finish what we started. That wedding is still today, but only if you still want it." Chica blinked, overwhelmed. But in her silence, her tears and the small nod that followed said it all. A moment later, 10 sleek cars cruised into the street in a majestic convoy. The sunlight danced on their polished surfaces, drawing a wave of awe from bystanders and guests already seated. The last car parked directly in front of Pamela's house. Pamela stood at the window, a triumphant smile playing on her lips. She turned to Sophia. "Come, my darling. Let me give you your final touch. Your husband is here, Sophia. Just like I said, you're Darlington's wife. Bam! It has happened." Sophia giggled, her makeup perfectly set, her gown glittering like it cost $1 million. They both peeped again from behind the curtain. Guests were arriving from all corners, not just ordinary guests, but the creme de la creme of society. Celebrities, business moguls, dignitaries. Photographers clicked nonstop. The compound had been transformed, a luxury wedding canopy spread wide, flowers everywhere, the red carpet shining like a royal walkway. The live band's drums thumped louder. The MC, with a booming voice, announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, the groom has arrived. Let the celebration begin. We await the dance of the bride." Pamela pulled Sophia's hand. "Let's go now. This is your moment." With high confidence and a smug smile, Sophia stepped out, swaying her hips proudly as she danced toward the stage. Her mother and Nina followed, dancing along. A few guests, confused but unsure, clapped along. As Sophia reached the stage, Darlington stood tall, dressed in an immaculate tuxedo. Calm, confident, but unreadable. Pamela leaned in beside him and whispered with a smirk, "I told you, you can't marry that lowlife. She must have eloped with another man. Poor thing. Don't worry, you'll thank me later." Darlington turned to her slowly, his eyes steady. "Was that why you did it?" Pamela smiled proudly, mistaking his calmness for gratitude. "Of course, I did what any wise mother would do. I had to chase her away for your good." Darlington gave a small nod, then smiled. "Thank you. At least now I'm marrying the one I love and respect." Then he clapped his hands once. All heads turned. One of the sleek car doors opened. Slowly. A red heel stepped out first, then a shimmering white gown, then Chica, stunning, regal, calm. As she stepped out of the car, her long gown swept the floor, the veil flowing in the breeze. The entire compound gasped. One guest whispered loudly, "But wasn't she the one who ran away earlier?" Another said, "She looks like a queen." Sophia froze. Pamela blinked, lips parting slightly. No, no, that's not possible. Darlington stepped away from Sophia, walking down the stage steps. He stretched his hand toward Chica, beaming. "Now that the real bride is here, shall we begin?" The band switched to a sweet love tune. The guests broke into thunderous applause. Chica smiled, took his hand, and everything Pamela tried to destroy came crumbling before her very eyes. Darlington turned slowly toward Pamela, his calm expression unchanged. He took the mic and said gently but firmly, "Before we dance, let's clear the air." With a signal, he motioned to the technician at the media desk. A large LED screen behind the stage lit up. Pamela panicked. "Wait! What is that?" Darlington raised a brow. "Let's all watch something together." The footage rolled. A split-screen view from hotel CCTV cameras came into view. The timestamp read just a few hours earlier. Chica walked into the hotel suite smiling, holding her small, expensive luggage. A few minutes later, two unfamiliar women wearing face caps entered the room with a master key. One dropped a letter on the bed. The other reached into the luggage and pulled out Chica's outfits, replacing them with dirty rags. Then one of them, perhaps in a hurry, accidentally dropped a business card beside the letter before they disappeared. The screen paused. Darlington zoomed in on the business card. Pamela's Jewelries, her personal assistant's name, the logo, the number. Gasps exploded from the crowd. Pamela shook her head, trembling. "No, no, no. This is not real. This is edited." Darlington cut in, voice low but deadly clear. "Your own business card, Pamela. That's how I knew who was behind it all. You made her think I was a ritualist, stole her phone, planted lies, sent her running half naked into the streets just to humiliate her and me." Pamela's knees buckled. Sophia's mouth hung open. Darlington looked at the crowd, then back at Pamela. "I wasn't surprised. I've known for a while what you did to Chica." Gasps again. "You turned her into a slave in this family, stopped her education, used her like a maid while pretending she was favored. You planned to dash her to a crippled man as a pity wife. The one you all called useless? Well, thank you. Because you gave her to me." Darlington turned to Chica and held her hand. "The one you rejected is now the queen beside me. Not because of pity, but because she's gold. You were too blind to see it." The guests erupted in applause. Some stood, others shook their heads in shock. Sophia burst into tears. Nina covered her face. "Pamela?" She sat down slowly, defeated, her plans shattered before the same crowd she tried to impress. Darlington turned back to Chica. "Shall we?" Chica smiled through her tears, and they both walked to the stage, hand in hand. The band struck up a new song. The real bride had arrived. The celebration began. Hello, besties. What a dramatic turn of events. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let's take a moment for the moral lessons. Don't look down on anyone. The one you reject today might become royalty tomorrow. Kindness may go unnoticed for a while, but it always speaks louder in the end. Manipulation and envy never win. Truth will always come to light. Now, besties, I need you to do something for me. Like this video. Comment your thoughts and favorite moment. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share with someone who needs to hear this twisty tale. Remember, I love you all so much. Thanks for always supporting me. God bless you abundantly. See you in the next one.